This is the basic surveillance system. It keeps the students awake. It's just like if the student simply waiting for something to happen. Okay, like it's it's more like an engine that it simply turn it on. Okay. The second is the orienting nerve network. Okay, the reactive brain. And this is where the issue, as I mentioned, it appeared, um, because this network directs the sensor toward to anything new. Okay, so a flash, a sound, a movement, maybe in a digital environment. So these networks like becomes hyperactive. Okay, the student is no longer to looking for information because the brain simply focuses on what is shining in the screen, right? This is the biggest problem. And the third is the executive network. Okay. Well, to finally, we have um, we have an executive control because this is the intelligent part that maybe should tell us to maybe like ignore that video and focus on what matters to me. And so this is the network that makes voluntary decision and stop the impulses, right? So what we are seeing today, it's maybe an imbalance because the reactive brain is so powerful and constant that it's cancel the student's ability to decide. Okay, it's not that they don't want to pay attention. It's more like the third executive system has been displaced by pure reaction to visual stimuli or the orienting network, right? And so a little bit in Spanish. Um, La tercera que nos está hablando de Executive Network está desplazando eh, lo que vendría siendo como por los impulsos de luz o los flashes, las cosas rápidas, está reemplazando esa capacidad del cerebro que nos pueda decir, ignora esto y focus on what matters to me. Okay? So, let's continue with the second theory by Daniel Kahneman. And Daniel Kahneman is who says that we don't think in just one way. Okay, we have two systems fighting for the control here. The system one is fast and emotional. Okay, this is our autopilot, and it is impulsive, it is effortless, and seeks instant reward. Okay, this systems activates when a student doesn't infinite scrolling on maybe TikTok platform, um, because they don't think, they just are reacting emotionally. Okay, and the second, he talked about the system two, that it's slow and logical. Okay, this is our deep thinking. This is the one that reason that planes that get concentrated. Okay, but this system too, that is slow and logical, has a problem because it it is lazy and it consumes a lot of energy. So that means that if system one, that is fast and emotional, it's entertained with lights and sounds, the system two just simply shuts down. So this word, it doesn't work. Okay, if system one it's entertainment and system two just doesn't work. So these were the two theories that I shared. And let's talk about let's continue with the explanation. Okay, so I wanted to understand this. Maybe we must look at the brain reward system. Okay, when a child consumes highly stimulating digital content, their brain it's flooded with dopamine over the time. It's constantly like with a lot of dopamine here, and the receptors brains it becomes oversaturated, and the pleasure is still rises. Okay, la la capacidad de como de el umbral del placer simplemente se incrementa cuando hay demasiada dopamina. Entonces, and consequently, the classroom and maybe the textbook or the phonetic practices and the structure, like in that kind of activities, began to be perceived as a insufficient or maybe just boring stimuli to the student. Okay, so this means that it's not like the student doesn't want to learn English or French or any other language. It doesn't mean that they don't want to learn it, because it's more like their brain is fighting to maintain focus on a process that doesn't offer an immediate reward. Okay, this is the explanation for the theories. So I want to um, see my conclusion. I want to that conclusion keep for you, because I like to seem like a lifesaver. Okay, here is where we have an academic lifesaver appears and calls Stephen Krashen, because he talked about the affective filter hypothesis. He explains that if a student is anxious, is bored, or maybe is stressed, their brains literally closes to informations and doesn't pass through. It's just closed. They doesn't understand anything, and I think that this filter is maybe higher than ever because children have every little tolerance to frustration. Children is it's more delicate in this situation, and therefore my proposal is maybe that emotional intelligence it must be the center of the class, because Russian teaches that for languages to flow in a classroom, the student must feel safe with us. So I think that as a future teacher, I have to understand that our role today is not just to deliver grammar, it's to manage that affective filter, maybe, because we are the lifesaver that helps the child to calm down, to maybe get focused. And I think that also to understand that the learning language is about recovering patience, and to maybe achieve this, we can use the I don't know, the same technological tools that overstimulate them and turned and into our advantage. And also maybe not, I don't know, I think that we can integrate these tools with methodologies like Suggestopedia, and right, which means using music and maybe art, and like make the class to feel calm and instead of causing stress to the student. And I don't know, I think that we can use the technology tools to help to the students to relax and get focused o sea, como para que so they don't get overstimulated. Turn that tools into our advantage. And so I think that this way their brains maybe get open and ready to learn, and maybe another, not only languages, just over many things. And so this is my conclusion. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And once again, my name is Jessica Andrea Galvis. And our topic was neuroeducation in the dopamine era. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jessica, in my case, I have a short question for you.
Okay.
Based on your perception, well, literally, I have two questions. What is your occupation recently?
Can you say it again, please?
Yes, what is your occupation?
My motivation,
No, occupation.
my occupation. I
Mhm.
work as a room promoter in a casino. I'm working right now.
Okay, okay. Well, based on your information and your perspective, give us examples to implement with children
Okay.
if you were a teacher.
Okay. I think that if I was a teacher, I have an advantage that I am so like calm and warm and you know, like as I said before, techniques like Suggestopedia or maybe the Krashen theories could help me very much because it shows us that if we lower to the students the anxiety fears, the rest just becomes easier. You know, even if we have many students or little technology, our most powerful tool is the emotional intelligence. Okay, if we create a safe environment where students feel motivated and calm, their intelligent brain will start to working again. Okay, and so I think that in the end, it's not about fighting with technology, and it's more about teaching in the human way behind a screen. Okay, but um, coming to the question, I think that techniques like Suggestopedia will so helpful because it creates an environment that if the students can feel relaxed and maybe get focused.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Guys, your questions for participating here.
Yes,
Right?
teacher, I have one question.
Teacher. Yes, Natalia. Well, first of all, Natalia, then Saul. Share your questions.
Okay, well, Jessica, mm, do you think uh, do you think technology is helping or harming language learning? Why?
Okay. I think that technology is um, a very important thing in our daily life if we will be teachers because as I said, we are in a technological era. So the problem is that we are, or maybe the students are not using it maybe in the right way because as I said in my presentation, I think that the technology overstimulate people, and that it's the maybe the wrong use for it. You know, it's so helpful as a teachers, but we have to maybe, like I said, turn them to our advantage. You know, use that to our advantage. If maybe the students is overstimulate them with applications like TikTok or things like that, we we have to maybe do things similar in the classroom to overstimulate it, but in the right way. So yes, I think that it's very helpful and useful for us to teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Continue, Saul Medina.
Okay, there, Jessica. Uh, how can we lower the affective filter for students? How
Okay,
can we
it's
lower
an
affective
interesting
filter?
question. It's an interesting question because if you're working with childs and the childs are so open and they're just so friendly with you, you just have to be open with them and create a environment that they can feel safe with you. I think that it's a way to open this affective filter because the child are so lovely with you. It's naturally that they are lovely with you.
Thank you so much for your participation, Jessica. In that case, I need to suggest you every single part. Why? First of all, Spanish. Spanish is not used commonly in this higher level. Why it's important to tell you this one? Due to if you are with basics levels such as A1 or A2, maybe it's possible to join Spanglish, or well, Spanish, literally. But, for example, the place I've been working uh, taught me the options to teach 80% in English, 20% in Spanish for those basic levels. But in this level, it's important to improve your English even when you are speaking. But teacher is complicated for me when I need to explain this one due to in Spanish I recognize it, but in English it's totally different. Now, in that case, in some cases, try to associate ideas in your mind a little bit easier if you want to explain something that you cannot recognize how you can explain in English. Okay, secondly, be aware with simple present tense. Why? Because you mentioned something special that is students doesn't. But if I remember, students or the word students is placed in plural, not in singular. For that reason, is blah, blah, blah. The incorrect answer was doesn't, but the correct is don't. The second situation, try to practice second conditional. Why? If you remember, in second conditional, we can associate imaginary or maybe hypothetical situation. For that reason, according to the rules in second conditional is the first part after if before comma, that sentence is in simple past. But when you are talking about with second conditional in past with the verb to be always is where. It means teacher is possible to say if I was a teacher. No, that situation is ungrammatically correct. Why? Because in second conditional we have to associate if I were a teacher. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and the other is practice a lot with plurals and singulars. Why? If you remember, in English we have, mm, how can I say, irregular uh, nouns. For example, child is singular, but teacher is possible to say child's? No, because that one is just working in singular. So teacher, what is the correct expression in plural? Children. Children are, not childs are. Thank you so much. Any questions, Jessica?
No, thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much. Now, let's continue with the next person. Esteban Bastidas, can you hear us?
Give me 1 second, teacher, please.
Yes, it's your turn. In this opportunity, share your presentation and start recording your presentation as well. Okay, let's start. Mhm.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Yes. Okay. What is the cryptocurrency trading by San Bastidas? Yes. What is the crypto trading? Cryptocurrency um, trading involves buying and selling digital currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins on especially chains. Trading designed to profit, improve fluctuation, with purchase coins a lower price and selling when values increase. Um, the next. Mm, 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 mm. Eh, Trading essential fundamentos. What is the trading essential? The trading essential is the first is wallets. That is billeteras. These are where you store your cryptocurrencies. They function like a personal account, and they contain private keys like a secret password. There are several times. The first is the hot wallet, connect to internet, how acts easier to use. And the other is the cold wallet. Function is offline. That is. Example is like your digital wallet for storing money. The other trading essential is the exchange. Um, Exchange is the casas de cambio. These are platforms where you buy and sell cryptocurrencies. You can exchange fiat or currency use SD EUR for crypto. The other is the change small fees. Example is like a marketplace where you buy and sell. The other times is these are the ways you decide to buy or sell. The most basic market order you would sell on the current price. The other is limit order. You choose the price on which you want to buy or sell. And the other is the stop loss. You automatically sell if the price drops too low. Example is when you decide how and when to buy or sell. The other is the market analysis. Is about steering the market to make example the resistance you hear, you sell and support you buy it. Okay, become price trends. The Bitcoin price trends history reveals distinct market cycles characterized by periods of rapid appreciation followed by significant corrections. Um, Correction example is here. This is a period when BTC, ETH here, the buy here and sell here. And here you sell and then you buy here. Okay. The trading versus holding. The trading is active strategy involving frequenting buying and selling within short time frames and require constant market monitoring, technical analysis and skills, quick decision making to capitalize price volatility. Um, in this, excuse me, in this trades intraday, you can operate in online day. Example, you buy it on the 6 a.m. And sell the 10 a.m. Online you part at 2 hours. And the traders, the swings, you can buy today and 2 years then after. Okay. When you buy and when you sell, uh, you buy when the price is in here in the resistance, you can buy here. Excuse me, you can sell here. When you sell, you can sell when the price is here. You can buy here and learn and you win all. This all. Online is my presentation. That is my.
In that case, guys, do you have any questions about Esteban's presentation?
Me,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Okay. Well, in that case, I have no idea who was answering first. Natalia, re I have no idea what is happening. Natalia, read please or share your question with us.
Well, Esteban, For me, the first one listen this type of presentation. I don't know absolutely nothing about crypto. Yes, yes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well, the question is, how can beginners start trading crypto warrants safely?
You can begin this word online backtesting. You can download the data is free in the web. You can backtesting is meant not put money in the market. First, you can study for minimum uh, 2 years online learns, not buy with your money real. Online study for minimum 2 years.
Okay, thank you so much. Juan Vidal, your question.
Yes, Esteban, I want to ask you if you have actually gained money doing that kind of business.
Mm, yes, actually, I had I learned money only
Mm-hmm. Esteban. Okay. Just to confirm, guys, can you hear Esteban?
I
Esteban, your
not yes. Sorry, my internet is bad. Okay. Yes. I today, actually I learned money with the this cryptocurrency online swinging trade. Um, is very good. Uh, but you can or you can study too much. I had 4 years study this business.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esteban. Well, based on the presentation, Doctor, I recognize some different errors, some mistakes that I expect you practice a lot. First of all, the same situation I explained with Jessica, we are in higher level. For that reason, Spanish won't be using this level. Why? Because if you are trying to, or if you try to get interaction with a native speaker and you try to use Spanish with them, maybe they'll be lost. It's for that reason that you need to talk a lot in English. Secondly, uh, for example, you said casas de cambio, exchange. But teacher, I don't know how I can explain this one in English. As I explained with Jessica before, you can use the words you have in English to explain better. For example, where exchange is literally is the place where you can buy different kinds of currencies such as euros, dollars, and so on and so forth, not to use Spanish. Secondly, I know that we have been learning just with basic vocabularies. I know, but it's important that we can increase our vocabulary in order to talk a lot better. Why? Because if you try to say such as you can buy this and you can buy this, obviously we can understand that situation, but it's totally redundant. For that reason, you can say, okay, you can buy this house and you can get this other one. If you recognize, I use similar synonym verbs to express the same idea. Mm -hmm. Third one is avoid using filler words. But teacher, what filler words are? Is when we try to repeat the same sounds of the same words in English, such as uh, e, okay. So those ones are filler words. In that case, we is the same way. However, we need to use different connectors to express our ideas. Third one. Be aware with the pronunciations, even when you are using words such as years. Years? No. We have to pronounce years, hours, no hours. You said commonly the error with buy, but is by, analyze, and okay. For example, we can use verbs such as applications, what are the same even in English. When you say free, it's not free, it's free. And minimum. And be aware with the Spanglish, guys. I know we are literally Spanish speakers. For that reason, in some cases, we can use different words in Spanish or mix them in English. For example, when I was working in a specific call center, in that moment I said, well, sir, I understood your problem, but first of all, Su Merced, could you please provide me your cell phone number? That one was the Spanglish word. Obviously, it was totally funny. But when you are speaking with native, well, with foreigners, literally, they don't usually understand our idioms. It's for that reason we need to be aware. And Juan, you have one error. Try to practice present perfect tense when you are formulated questions in the past to talk about with the actions in the present, such as have you actually earned or gained? Because if you say you actually have gained money, it's an affirmative sentence. We need to be aware with that one due to in some cases when you are presenting international final exams, international exams, those kind of errors cannot be permitted in that moment. Okay, thank you so much. Now, the next victim, the next student will be Camila Andrea Montero Sanchez. Camila, can you hear us? I
Yes,
know,
I
my
am here.
victims. Okay, Camila, literally this place is for you. Let's start with your presentation.
A moment, please.
Of course.
You can see my screen.
Mm, not yet. I haven't seen it yet. Is charging. discharging, discharging, and it's charging, and so on
I
and so
had a
forth.
bad connection.
No
Sorry.
worries. In my case, my computer in some cases is not working. So, Camila, is your turn. Talk.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Camila Montero, and today I want to talk about a very important topic in education, and is about traditional writing exams and why they are not always effective to evaluate students. So, before we start, I want to ask you a question. Are exams really a good way to evaluate the students? Let's think about it for a moment. Can you answer my question?
Well, in my case, I'd like to participate based on your question. Ladies and gentlemen, in my case, that I've been working as a teacher for 3 years, more or less, or around, literally. I've learned that exams are too much important to evaluate our students, given that we need to recognize their process. It means our students can start studying English or their languages or their subjects as usual, but they are increasing to get a specific goal. But between the objective and the beginner's moment, it is important to recognize, based on exams, how we can understand or what are the specific parts we need to improve better, even in English, even in maths, even in biology, and so on and so forth. But that one is my perception. Yes, guys. Who's the next to talk based on for this answer?
Listen to me. Sorry. Close my microphone. Thank you for your question. And yes, I agree with you that exams can help teachers identify students' progress and areas to improve. However, I think exams should not be the only way to evaluate students. And as you mentioned, it is important to recognize the learning process, not only the final result. That is why combining exam with other methods, for example, like projects or presentations, can give a more complex view of students' learning.
Samuel, is your turn. Samuel or Saul? Saul, you wanted to participate with your answer, please.
Sorry, teacher. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Camila, I ask you apologize, but is it possible to you for moving you for to another room due to the television is a little bit loudy?
Okay, teacher.
Here's your question.
Is my question to my classmates.
Your answer.
Some people say exams are an objective way to miss your progress, but others think they don't capture everything and can cause a lot of stress.
Thank you so much. Continue, Camila.
Okay. Listen to me. Do you hear noise? Hello.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comment, classmate. I agree with you. Exams can help us see student progress. But as you say, they do not capture everything. Students have different abilities. Exams cannot show all of them. That is why it is important to use different evaluation methods, not only exam. In this way, we can understand students better and support their learning process. Sorry. Do you have the other questions?
And one question.
Okay, so yes.
Just a moment. Okay, wait a moment.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Saul.
Yes.
Okay. How do you think exams influence students' motivation or stress? And what alternative could reduce the stress without sacrificing the quality of assessment?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I think exams can increase stress and reduce motivation in students. Many students feel pressure to get good grades, and they focus only on passing the test. Because of this, the main enjoy learning or understand the topic deeply. To reduce this stress, teachers can use alternative methods like projects and presentations or group work. Um, these methods create a more relaxed environment and help students feel more confident. At the same time, they still allow teachers to value learning in a meaningful way.
Okay, I have another question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. How can teachers evaluate many students without exams?
Uh, I think the teacher can use rubrics and clear criteria. Also, they can evaluate students' raw activities like presentation or group works. And it may take more time, but the results are more meaningful.
Thank you, Camila.
Thank you for your
Continue.
questions. Okay, let's continue. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Now we can see your
Yes.
screen.
Okay. For my part, I can see your screen.
Okay, let's start by understanding what traditional exams are. Traditional writing exams are tests where students answer questions in a limited time. These exams usually focus on memory, grammar, or specific answers. Teachers use them because they are easy to apply and grade. However, they do not always show real understanding. So let's start with the first problem. Is traditional exams focus too much on memorization and students study to pass the test, not to understand the topic. And after the exam, they forget the information quickly. So learning is not really meaningful. Now, let's move to another important problem is exams can create a lot of stress and anxiety. Many students feel nervous and cannot show their real abilities. So the result does not always reflect their true knowledge. And finally, let's talk about the last problem. Exams do not evaluate all skills. For example, communication, creativity, and critical thinking are not included, and students are more than use correct or incorrect answers. So, we can without doing that, teachers can use different evaluation methods. For example, projects, presentation, group work, and oral activities. These methods help students show their understanding in real situations. Also, they promote participation and meaningful learning. So, to conclude, traditional writing exams are not always effective and they focus on memorization and create stress, do not evaluate other skills. As a future teachers, we should use more inclusive and dynamic evaluation methods. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. I have a short question for you, Camila. You mentioned something special that you've got a point there when maybe in some cases students could be frustrated when just hear the word exam. In my case, when I hear that word, I I am a little bit worried. In that case, what should you do with person with a specific symptom, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder to evaluate him? Camila? I have no idea, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am here. Um,
I was thinking that I was alone. Camila? 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 Well, Camila is not here. Camila, when you, if you can hear me, be aware for your presentation. In the same way, I like to share with you these, well, those specific feedbacks that I hope you can modify them in the future. First of all, based on coherency. Why coherency? In some cases, it's important to follow the specific information and continue with it here. In what context? When Camila showed us the specific question, she said, thank you for your question. So in that case, it's very complicated. We could say, thank you for your answer. Secondly, the pronunciation. Recognize. Recognize is not recognize it. Recognize. For that reason, we have to be aware when we are pronouncing those different kinds of words. Third one, I know that we can say, listen to me could be, sounds natural or maybe kind on my voice, but I know this one or this situation is very frustrating given that we need to present our ideas and maybe we have that specific stress in our body. For that reason, avoid using the mm, a stronger voice even when we are feeling anxious or when we are stressed. Why? Because if I tell you like, listen to me is because I need that you are following me literally in my camera. But if I say, listen to me, maybe you can be afraid for that one. Depends on my kind of voice. Mhm. The third one is the same pronunciation, but the difference between not to create a biggest, how I can say, a biggest difference between our tenses. Why? Because feel, felt, present, past. If I try to explain you, such as this one, well, and I need to talk about in the past, such as yesterday I go to sleep at 7 a.m. Maybe you could uh, pay attention in other situation based on the past. For that reason, the pronunciation for feel and felt are too much important. Okay, and the pronunciation with also is not also, also. Thank you so much, Camila. Now is Juan Vidal's turn. Juan, can you hear us?
Yes, teacher.
Teacher.
Okay. Well,
I I have
in
a
that
question to
case,
share.
yes.
Somebody started the recording, but I don't know if I stop the recording. The
I
if
no idea.
and I start again, it will
Be
be like
responsible
a new file
for.
or
Sorry,
somebody started the recording. Yes, the the session is
I
being
I have no idea,
yes,
but I think
and
the
I have
session
the
is.
option. I have
Sorry.
the option to stop it, but I if I do it, I can record again because I don't know how Teams works.
Okay, well, it's a little complicated due to, as I told before, I won't record this session due to that one is your responsibility. In that case, if you need it, you can record or stop the recording to save the information you will present today.
Okay, I I won't stop the recording and
Hmm.
I will
And
download the.
camera on.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen
Yes.
and my topic is about the future of English. So, a brief introduction. Nowadays, if you want to speak English, you have to not only learn the vocabulary, but also you have to learn other things. Multimodal literacy, we call it. It refers to the integration of text, image, and sound to create meaning. Because nowadays we rely on social media and it has a lot of images, videos, and it is integrating with the English language. We nowadays have the emojis that uh, are useful to the prosodic markers, um, and they are useful as equivalent to facial expressions. I mean, if you want to laugh about something, you can put an image of a smiling face, and the people will know what are you talking about. Also, you can use memes, gifs, and you can synthesize what you are saying. Yes, somebody raise their hand. Saul. Okay, I will continue. So,
Sorry, sorry.
yes, we think that the language changes across centuries, maybe millennia, but nowadays with the internet, it is changing every day. We have new words every day because we are connecting with people from around the world and we are learning new expressions all the time. And nowadays we don't rely so much on books, academic books, but we are creating the language ourselves. Okay, let's continue. Well, nowadays we have rules that are being shaping the language, and we can establish three main points here. First, the shorthand is like nowadays we have to speak quickly and we use terms like FOMO or DM to save time to say things quickly. Also, we have the punctuation that is changing. because now we don't use like in the chat of WhatsApp or messengers like the dots because it feels rude and we have visual vibes. We use the letters, the lowercase letters or the caps to express something more strongly. Well, now we know that people are in church. Um, in the past, like the church how we have to speak, but but nowadays, are you seeing my screen?
Now, yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
the academics were the people that say how we have to speak, but nowadays the people that are in the social media are the ones who are creating the language. We have new words like ghosting, dumb scrolling that started with the use of social media. And we have to keep in mind that it will be from now on. We we know that everyone nowadays can be an inventor of words. In the past, were the poets, professor of or dictionaries creating language, but now, like a child with TikTok can invent a fancy word and it will be around the world in minutes. All right. Now, we also know that the cultures around the world are mixing because of the connection of the internet. Now we have that words that we know we didn't know the meaning of that words are integrated into our language. We have like chai, babe, or kawaii are foreign words but are taking roots in the English. Well, but besides that, we have to have in mind that we have to be aware of the public that we are speaking to because if we are in academic context, we can't use that kind of expressions. We have to have a more rigorous type of speaking, but in the long term, those expressions will invade, if we can say that, or the language, the English language. Okay, that's everything.
Thank you so much, Juan Vidal. I have a short question for you. You mentioned that acronyms can be used for informal contexts, such as my friends or other closest friends. But my question is, what are the upside or downside of using acronyms in formal contexts, such as working with meetings and so on and so forth?
Okay, I think that we can misinterpret maybe if we are not familiar with the context, some people can understand other things to give.
Okay, you mentioned the downsides, but what about the advantages of using an informal context?
Okay, I think that we can establish stronger relations with the people when we have like a specific way to communicate, and we can have stronger bonds when like we have a code that only one group know the meaning of those words.
Okay, okay, thank you so much for your appreciation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, questions for your partner, please. Yes, Esteban.
Okay, partner. I have one question. Is how has the internet changed the way we use language?
How the internet
Repeat?
changed the way we use the language? Okay, well, it changes completely.
Yes.
As I was saying, uh, people from around the world are connected, and they are creating a new language with new expressions. And the young people are taking the how do you say it, the rules, are creating the rules to express uh, nowadays. Okay,
Thank you for the answer.
Camila.
Teacher, I'm the next.
Yes.
I have a question for Juan Jose. Do you think technology is destroying language?
Well, I think that is a subjective opinion. Maybe an academic will say that yes, it's destroying the language. But in my from my point of view, I don't think it is destroying anything. The language is something that people shapes. I like the way the language is transforming. People have to create the language, not the academics.
Okay, Saul. Well, I think that
For my
the
presentation, right?
yes, yes, your question,
Okay.
Saul.
No, my presentation, teacher.
Ah, no, not yet. No worries. Well, in that case,
Why?
thank you so.
Wait a
No,
minute.
not a little bit, I think. No, no, yes. No, yes. No, Juan Jose was that person. Give me just a second to verify who's the next. Well, in that case, Juan Jose Vidal, just few errors. First of all, when you need to express informal context about short words or few words, we can use acronyms. You can say like, in that case, our language has been replaced by acronyms. No more, because we are in formal context, and it is necessary to improve it. Secondly, I know that we can say in Spanish, just a second, I'm going to say this word in Spanish, la gente. But that one or that situation is totally incorrectly in English. Why? Because the article there we can use to talk about a specific uh, information or adjectives or characteristics for the noun. It means the American people is blah 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 blah. In that case, it's possible to use the article there. Why? Because I we are talking about the specific part. But people, due to is general, we have to say just people. People are living blah 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 blah. Crystal clear, Jose? And the third one is from
Yes,
my
sure.
point of, in my point of view. Yes, Juan Jose.
Yes, I didn't hear that last part. Sorry.
Ah, which one? According to with the people?
No, after the
No,
people.
the last one, it is when you try to use in my point of view, not from my point of view. In my point of view, blah blah
In my
blah blah.
okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Juan Jose. Now, Gilbert Vargas is here. Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Gilbert. It's thy turn. Talk.
Okay. The
Presentation.
okay. The partner Saul uh, is the record the who record?
I have no idea. Saul, are you recording this session?
Yes, classmates, not
Okay.
worry.
Okay. You can see my screen.
Yes, it's charging. I think so.
Okay. Okay. First, hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Gilbert Vargas. And I want to share a project that is very close to my heart, the teaching English through local culture. Um, my goal, excuse me, my goal today is to show you how our own roots uh, can be the most powerful tool in the classrooms. For the chains, um, but first, let's look at the reality we often face. Um, uh, as you can see on the screen, a traditional English teacher often relies on material disconnected from a student's cultural reality. When the content feels uh, distant, from their life, talking about Atun in London or subways in New York. Students struggle to relate. Also, they don't just struggle with grammar, they struggle to gain meaningful with the language become it doesn't represent them. Um, for this part, to solve this, I propose a framework based on six cultural pillars. We can use the local stories and legends, um, the celebrates or festivals, and about a cultural vocabulary. We can also integrate music and art, describe our unique landscapes, and way and always work um, within familiar contexts. This turns the classrooms into a mirror of the students' world. But the next one is uh, I want to test this, so I share a pilot project with my 7 and 8 grade students, focus on the regional landscapes and flora. Um, I don't know. And flora. Okay. Uh, we did a storyline. We did a storyline section using local legends, which boosted students' engagement uh, tremendously. Even shy students volunteered to share family stories. Of course, um, there were challenges. We we last resource in English about our specific trees or mountains. Our solutions. We collaborated with the students to translate local materials. Um, and the measurable outcomes were clear. The participations rose by 40%. We say several language rotations because the vocabulary was announced to their reality. For the next one is um, this experience uh, taught me 3K lessons. First, increase motivations. Students care more when they see themselves in the lessons. The second one is better reputations. The concept sits when they are meaningful, and the third is the cultural pride. Students um gain language skills while appreciating their parents. Um, this is backed by David Solf. Um, this is the this author, um, who is his book place-based educational, um, argues that the local environments is the perfect stage point for language arts. It's about connecting classrooms and communities. Um, Here, with my top recommendation, start with the familiars materials and use the local festivals as lesson answers. Um, Most importantly, also celebrate and show scarce the students' contributions. Um, when a student sees their local culture buried in English class, their confidence grounds. Um, to include, I want to emphasize that teacher English through local culture is about more than just grammar, and it is about improvement. During my experience with the 7th and 8th grades, with my educational practice, I witnessing how describing our own regional landscapes transformed the classrooms. Um, we move from passive learning to active, mindful experience, where students feel proud of their identify. Um, Also, as a David Stolz, teacher us the local environment is the perfect starting point by starting with what our students love and and know their trees, um, their festivals, and their stories. We are giving them the tool to speak to the world without ever losing sense of their roots. Um, Thank you so much for your attention. I have this impressed to look around your own community and find the beautiful and that is waiting to be translated in English.
Thank you so much, Gilbert Vargas. In my case, I have a short question for you. To what extent should be our cultural traditions be implemented in order to avoid having conflicts with foreigners' cultures?
Okay, I think that these strategies can can be incorporated with the class for transfer the teach when I as a teacher explore new experience, uh, the local experience with the students. Uh, I think that it's so important that that when students know the local regions or can be described the local regions, um, can explore or can have a base for incorporate this vocabulary for for a new global uh, for a new global things. Teacher, your microphone is off.
I sorry. As always, when I'm working in my computer with my students, I forgot that I need to change the position with the screen. So when my microphone is off. Thank you. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, any questions you want to share with him? Yes, Valentina.
I have a question. What kind of activities can teacher use to connect English lessons with students' daily lives and traditions?
Um, okay, partner. It's a good question, but there are several practical activities we can implement. For example, I incorporate these activities for presentations. Is the storytelling sessions, uh, having students relate local legends or familiar folklore in English. The landscape descriptions. The other one is festival actors. Um, and the other one is collaborative translations. You can use these strategies or these activities for incorporate this uh, for this methodology in your class and improve new and motivate your students.
Other question, guys. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Gilbert. In that case, I need to suggest you this information. Oof. Well, first of all, it is important to have fluency when we are talking. Given that when we try to talk in that way, we sound such as robots, and maybe it sounds so weird. But teacher, how can we use or what can we do to improve better the fluency? In my case, I try to take a book as my preference and try to read according to my English level with the correct pronunciation. If you remember, our Spanish teachers taught us the punctuations to use them properly, even when we need to read or when we need to breathe. For example, I could have said, in those days I was working in teleperformance, but blah, 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 blah. We need to try to continue with the conversational way, the idea, because if you try to read or you need to talk in short parts, maybe the other person can be affected for the situation you need to express. Okay, that one is the first situation. Secondly, the pronunciation for everyone is important, guys. Teacher, but what is the option to practice the pronunciation? In my case, as I explained with my students in English, there are a plenty of accents to talk, and it's already complicated to memorize them. But when you need to talk, try to improve it with American accent. That one is the first suggestion. Secondly, why is it important to recognize the pronunciation? In Spanish, we could say cultural because we can recognize those specific consonant sounds. But in English, the consonant for cultural, in Spanish obviously, is cultural, like a schwa. Secondly, is with educational. We could say yes in Spanish, educational, but in English is like a J, educational. For that reason, practice that part. Remember, our university is presenting us a specific course to practice English phonetics. Phonetics are too much important to use them due to this one help us to create the situation to use them. If you remember, when we are teaching when we are teaching English language, such as the difference between words such as teeth and teeth are totally different, depends on the context to use them. Is for that reason. Teeth, if you remember, is the plural for those ones. Teeth are those ones. This one is the example that I wanna present you the importance for practicing the phonetics. Even in YouTube, there are a lot of videos to practice the phonetics. For that reason, do it. Secondly, the pronunciation for emphasize, identify also must be implemented. When you use the verb base and you need to connect it with other particle, the incorrect answer is based with or based off, is based on. Based on this situation, blah, 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 blah. And finally, it's a little complicated due to when you use incorporate like a verb is when you try to present that your idea to become real. For example, I incorporate many companies for having a new one. This one is the situation for incorporate. But the other synonym verbs you can use to associate with implement, we could be integrate, include, margin, combine, and so on and so forth. Clear, Gilbert? I think that his camera is frozen. Okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much. No, Gabriel. The next victim, the next student, Saul Medina. Your turn. Saúl, Saulito, Saúl.
Okay, teacher. Okay, I'm here. Um,
Can you feel cozy in your bed, Saul?
sorry, one moment.
No, no,
Uh, okay.
I know. Uncle Natalia, he is the only he is presenting his presentation in his bed, literally.
Um, can you hear me?
Now, yes.
On my screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Uh, Band. Is that okay? Yeah.
Perfect.
The Artificial Intelligence in the Life of Students by Saul Medina. Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I want to share with you a topic that is changing education. Artificial intelligence in the life of students. Uh, Artificial intelligence or AI means machines or programs that can do tasks usually need human thinking, like learn, solving problems, or marketing decisions. In education, and AI is becoming very important. It changed the way we study, the way we find information, and even the way we organize our time. Uh, okay, think about this. 10 years ago, students had to spend hours in the library looking for books. Today, with the tools, we can get answer in seconds. But is this always good? That is question we need to explore together. The main problem, and AI is powerful, but they also bring problems. Some students depend too much on these tools. They stop thinking for themselves. There is a risk of plagiarism when students copy answer without understanding them. There is digital graph. Not all students have access to these technologies. So the challenge is how can use how can how can use AI without losing our own creativity and effort. Okay, okay. Development advantage. Let's look at the positive side. Uh, Fast access to information. The AI can answer question quickly. This saves time and helps students focus on learning. Uh, the personalized learning. App and virtual tutors uh, can adapt to each student's level. For example, if you are weak in the math, the program give you more exercise in math. Uh, for organization and productivity, the AI tools can remain use of deadlines, help use plan or study time, and even still gets better way to manage tasks. Uh, Imagine a student preparing for exams with AI. They can get practice questions, explanations, and ever feedback on their grading. This make learning more flexible and effective. Uh, Develop challenge, but there are challenges too. Dependence. If students only use AI, they may stop thinking critically. They may throw the machine more than their own brain. Uh, Ethic and pleasure. Uh, Copying tests from AI without understanding it is a big problem. It reduces creativity and honesty academic work. Inequality. Uh, Not all students have the same access. Some school or families cannot offer these tools. Some the gap between students grow. Uh, this challenge should use they use that AI is not a magic solution. It must be used carefully. Uh, the practical samples. Uh, Let me give you some examples of AI in student life. Chatbots like Copilot can answer question quickly, almost like a tutor available. Uh, Platforms can check grammar and correct writing, help students improve their insights. Uh, Apps can help use organize our students' schedules, sending reminders and creative plan. These exams show that AI is already part of our daily academic life. The what is possible solution? So what can we do to use AI better? Why? First, use AI responsibility. It should be a support, not a replacement. Second, university should teaching students how things critically and creativity, even when using AI. Sorry, I'm sick. Uh, Third, clear rules are needed.
Saul,
So have a good connection.
I think so. Well, I will. Well, no, girls, take your time. 2 minutes to verify if he. Saul. Oh, Saul. Okay, thank you so much. Well, in that case, yes, Camila, your question for Saul.
Yeah, so I have two questions for you. The first question, how can teachers prevent plagiarism when students use artificial intelligence tools?
Please repeat the question, sir.
How can teachers prevent plagiarism when students use artificial intelligence tools?
Um, uh, the teachers can prevent plagiarism by setting clear rules about AI use, by asking students to to explain their work in their own words, and by using plagiarism tools detection tools. They can also design activities that require personal reflection or creativity, which AI um, cannot easily replace.
Yes, the second question, Camila.
The second question is, what is your opinion? Uh, do the benefits of artificial intelligence in education outweigh the challenges?
Um, yes, I think um, the benefits are stronger. AI helps students learn faster, organize better, and access more resources. And and the challenge the challenges are real, but with good rules and responsible use, AI can be a positive force in education.
Thank you. So,
So much, Esteban.
Okay, partner. I have one question is what is one benefit of using AI in education? Hear me?
Repeat the question, please.
It's
What is one
Yes.
benefit of using AI in education?
Responde la pregunta. The benefit is education.
Yes,
It's
yes.
a much. Uh, it's the it's the the guide for students in the app in your class. Um, um, uh, very what is this? Sorry, classmates, I'm sick. Um, is essential uh, for students to understand artificial intelligence because it's not longer just a futuristic tool. Uh, it's a fundamental skill for modern world. Thank you.
Camila, yes.
Can I answer the question?
Yes.
Like, in my opinion, one important benefit of using artificial intelligence in education is personalization. Um, yeah, Canada learning to each student's needs and
Escúchala.
level. Um, for example, students can learn at their own pace and receive immediate feedback. And as I'll give fast access to information and help students organize organize and their learning so it can make learning more efficient and flexible.
Uh-huh. Last question, as Jessica.
Hello, I just want to know if you as a teacher or anyone, if anyone want to ask for it, what do you think about the privacy in the students about the use of AI? What about the privacy? Because I think that it's very dangerous because it is a massive data collection. So, what do you think about it, Saul or anyone?
Please repeat the question. I don't hear.
The question
Sorry.
is what do you think about the privacy of the people or the students with the use of AA?
Wait.
Do you understand me?
Oh, yes, we understand you, but I think that Gilbert wants to participate. I have no idea. Yes, Gilbert.
Um, okay, for the questions that the partner, I think that the AI can be a good tool to incorporate in the classrooms, but is covered that the AI can be taught.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, guys, now let's continue with the next part that is Saul's feedback. Hi, Santo. Well, the first one is when we use organize, we are custom using Spanish to associate the words. Organize is a verb in English, but in this level, the idea is try to use verbs such as distribute or hang over if you needed to use phrasal verbs. It's important that one. Secondly, okay, I need that you can practice the nouns in singular and plural. Why? Because Saul, when you say with a tools, I'm sorry, I need to say this one in Spanish. Saúl, ¿es lógico para ti decir con una herramientas?
¿Cómo, teacher?
Is logical for you to say in Spanish con una herramientas?
No,
No, in Spanish
con
is
unas.
logical. For that reason, in English, it's totally logical as well. So in that case, neither you have to say a tools or another one or another one. In that case, you could say or you could have said with a tool or with tools, but not together. When we use the verb depend and we need to connect it with other idea, the other to use is, or the particle to use is on. Depend, or this one depends on to blah, 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 blah. Secondly, be aware with the pronunciation or maybe with simple present tense. When you use the verb, the subject it, that is in third person, the next verb you have to use them with s. For that reason, the incorrect is to say it reduce. The correct answer is it reduces. I don't know if you are sick that you cannot connect the ideas even with WH questions. Why? Because if you say, why is it is possible the solution? Maybe I was thinking or I thought that you are asking or you were asking for having the reason. But if you need to verify the options such as um, status, other things, you have to use what? What is it possible? The next one is for support. When you use particles such as on, with, for, and others, and you need to connect the reason using another verb, you have to place that verb with ing. For example, my students helping me for supporting other students, not for support. I have no idea if you said clear, but the correct pronunciation is clear. Eh, when your partner asks you about one question, your answer is I don't hear. Obviously, it's incorrect. The first one is because when you need to mention at the end the direct object, you, I don't hear you. Secondly, when you say that a specific answer or the situation for providing the reason is maybe, let me explain you in few words. For example, if you ask you like, well, where do you live? And you say, I don't hear you. In my mind, I imagine that you can't be, you can't, or you don't know hearing. That one is the first perception in my mind. Due to the situation was in past, you could have said such as, I didn't hear you. Didn't, not don't. The next one is the same situation. It's logical for you to say in Spanish, guys, es una fundamental. Es una fundamentales, sorry. Correct or incorrect in Spanish? Is incorrect. Why?
Incorrect.
It's possible to say in Spanish es algo fundamental, it's some fundamental, but it's a fundamentals is totally incorrect. Thank you so much, Saul. Edgar Flores, can you hear us? Edgar. Okay, I think that Edgar is not here. Let me see the next victim. Astrid.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, Astrid. It's your turn.
Okay, teacher. 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Tener.